please, you are welcome to the stage. Mrs. Shalu, is she around, please? The topic before our panelists this afternoon is re-engineering morality through creative industry. Re-engineering morality through creative industry. That is the topic we have this afternoon. Re-engineering morality through creative industry. So, madam, she's coming. She's this. Okay, madam, you are also Mrs. Sashaolu, please. You are welcome to. Once again, the topic before us this afternoon is engineering morality through creative industry. Madam, please, you can. Oh, okay. Okay. You're all welcome. Thank you. No, one more person is coming, but you are the one moderating, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, madam.
You're all welcome to this session. Re-engineering
morality
through creativity.
Yes, ma'am.
It's a topic that I think it's quite apt at this time. I want to tell us that I'm here. My name is Nwanyema Okano. I am here representing the acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. How do you re-engineer morality through creativity? First of all, can we look at what is re-engineering? Why do we need to re-engineer? Or can we look at it from another point? What is morality? These are questions I think all of us should be thinking about while we are looking at this topic. The Lagos Film Festival, the organizers, I think they really went to school, because all the topics that we've been looking at since morning are so apt. But unfortunately, we have only our students here to deal with. I hope the others join us back quickly. I'll say that the timing and the theme of the film festival is not only commendable, it is equally instructive, considering that Nigerians are in quandary concerning their shared economic woes, our common search for solutions, and the dire need for convergence and partnership, which is what we are here to do. Re-engineering suggests somewhat an improvement or redesigning of a product. And of course, we cannot do either of this to morality. Morality is a constant. Even if we assume morality is a product that has a problem, the solution will be to redesign it, reconstruct, or even create a total new product or process, because that product already has all things imputed into it to make it the product that it is already. But as it is, one may wonder why this thing, which seems to be speaking only to the film industry, but we can relate it to the generality of the populace, the citizenry. Why? Causes of our socioeconomic, religious, and moral problems are all intertwined, and so we can relate them all to the issue of decayed morality. We are talking about morality here. So let's understand that the creative industry, which we know as pertaining to art and culture, it has wide-range effects on our economy. The industry contributes over, how many percent? Over 23%. To our GDP. Doctor is not here. They have their statistics, but let's assume, because when we calculate all the people that are in the industry and those that are earning a living through the industry, we can say perhaps over 23%. When we calculate all, whether it's in the film industry, we look at the music, we look at arts, we look at sports, all entertainment. So the industry is contributing a lot. And how are they doing it? Sheer grit and ingenuity. I know my brother here, Victor, how he's come a very long way. If you know him and the struggles he has had to pass through in ensuring that the industry gets to where it is today, you'll appreciate him the more. So what was it that he had on ground before he got to his position where he is now? The industry has gone through so much. And what is happening? Moral decadence is taking over. How can we use the creative industry to re-engineer or reprocess or turn around, reorientate the moral upbringing of our young people, even the old ones? I think I made mention of something like that in the morning when I was making my small contribution. And we also know that the industry has carved a niche for itself through that shared grit and ingenuity. On the other hand, in trying to reach the wider global audience, our creative industry has also gravitated towards the global craze for modernism. I mean, we are saying it to ourselves here, saying it as it is, where we portray our young people, even the older ones, because there are no more old people in the industry. Everyone is young. You see people making some mundane displays, and we project this out. Young children growing up look at this, and they think it is the way forward. People like the NDLEA man talked about, let's discuss, and we'll tell you how you can project it, which I will also say as a representative of the EFCC, we also ask for that. If you're producing a movie, because sometimes we had to do a disclaimer some time ago. If you represent us in a wrong way, we'll come after you. Yes, ask questions. We are there, we are open. If there's anything that you don't understand on the operations of the EFCC, come. We are open and we'll discuss it. And we'll tell you how we do the thing so that you can go and present it well. Some of the police didn't attend this program. Our Nigerian police, let's use them for example. You see people making caricatures of them. It's not just the one person, maybe one Mr. Kunle or one Mr. Carlo, that isn't the police that you're misrepresenting. You're misrepresenting the whole nation. And if we don't put it right and it goes out there, how do they look at us? That is us. And then we are talking about the issues of morality. Everyone, in movies, it's a hype to smoke. Young children or even older people, how do we make sure that the young people learn the right things through our movies, through our creativity, whether it's on stage, on film, on celluloid, or the small ones that we are now doing, everybody, content creators, we create and dump online, and people look at it. Are those things teaching us good morals? How do we re-engineer and put us on the right perspective? In the EFCC, just give me a little more time, the Public Affairs Department has been doing so much, which a young person mentioned if we can be going online. Do you go online to watch EFCC programs? Today is Wednesday, right? How many people will go on Twitter by 6 p.m. today to be with the EFCC and discuss issues or ask questions? It's a whole 2 hours program. On our radio platforms, television, online, the website, how many people go there? We are talking about re-engineering morality through creativity. So I'm going to drop it there because time is far gone and I'm sure so many people are hungry. So let's look at it quickly and dispense of this topic. Mr. Victor, I'll start with you. How do we re-engineer morality through creativity in this industry? Yeah.
Thank you very much. I think the first thing is to realize the kind of power that we have as a creative industry and the kind of influence that we wield on society. If you're talking about re-engineering, it presupposes taking, let me use a car as an example, taking it apart and putting it together again and all that. In the taking apart, you have an understanding of, how it's done and all that, and maybe reassembling it how you want it to be. Now, there is nothing as influential. Perhaps the closest to it may just be religion, or maybe it is only next to religion in shaping how societal behavior can be modified. Why I put it sometimes even almost at par or even over is the fact that creatives are in of themselves influencers. It's a pity that Dr. Ikenna didn't allow the NDLE person talk. They didn't make Naira Marley an ambassador. But even if they did, if you want to go into a community, or if there are, let me use language, armed robbers. Now, this has nothing to do with, I'm not saying he is, I hope you understand me, just by way of illustration. There is no greater person to convert criminals or drug addicts than a repentant person, because he understands the terrain. He knows the people. They will listen to him better than they will listen to you. Okay? And in his own case, he's a leading light. Naira Marley is a movement. It's not just an individual. It's a movement. He's almost like a god in that movement. People don't seem to realize how powerful he is. And Naira Marley is not, for those who don't know him closely, they think he's an illiterate because of the way he sings and talks. That guy, you should hear him speak English. He went to school in England, had very good grades, has a master's degree. He's well schooled. Unfortunately, the soldiers in the movement are people who are. So, in a sense, he may be misleading them. You know, he may not even be practicing what he's saying, but he's speaking the language they want to hear. Now, I think what the NDLEA did was recognize the power that he has, and that's important in shaping or arranging. It must recognize the power that the creatives have. Recognize the influence that they can bring to bear on society. And having recognized it, now how do you use that to, if you want to use word re-engineer, or to turn it around for good, positively? Now, that's exactly what the NDLEA has attempted to do. Look at the concept of Naira Marley. Before now, it was for negativity. So they decided, wait, there's so much power here. Can we use it for good? It's like a river, or if it's like a river that is flooded and all that. It can be used for destruction, but it can be dammed for irrigation. It can be dammed for electricity, which means you now convert it, or if you like, re-engineer it for positive advantage. And so, in order to be able to do that, when we recognize the power of society, of these influencers and these creatives and entertainers, what we need to do therefore is, which is why companies use some of them as ambassadors, they can reach these people easily. They can touch, they can influence them. These people look up to them. They understand the language of these people. Therefore, you can use them to turn these people from their negative ways to positive ways. If a man has been telling you before to do shaye, to do drugs, and he now comes around and he says, no, it's not good, you will listen to him better than you will listen to a pastor. Am I right or am I right?
Very correct.
Very correct. You will listen to him more than you will even listen to your parents, because he's your idol. You believe and die. You understand what I'm saying? So in order to be able to do that, or to answer a question very briefly, there's a need for us to be able to recognize the power of our creatives, tap into it, and use it to advantage. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
A round of applause for him. Did it not make any sense to you? You understood what he tried to say. Thank you very much, Mr. Victor. Madam, please, your name?
Madam Ashaolu.
Ademola Olu Ashaolu. Adebola Ashaolu. Bola Ashaolu. Thank you. You've listened to the topic, and I heard you when you were talking to the young people in there, and I think you've got it in you. So can you tell us a little bit more on how we can re-engineer or turn around or recreate using creativity to turn to ensure that morality thrives in our country, in our land, looking at the way things are right now. Please give her the microphone over there.
Good afternoon once more. Good afternoon, madam. Yeah, I want to start like this. I am a youth matron in my church, and I've always been in the midst of youths, so I know their language to an extent. So that's the reason why it is very convenient for me to address them without having any, without holding anything back. Yes, in my association, ANTP, I think at the point when my husband became the president of the association, I assumed the position of the chairperson of women wing of the association. And what we were doing basically was to kind of remodel our ideas about how women are being treated in film industry. Prior to that time, it used to be like for you to be a star, for you to get to a particular level of if you are coming into film industry at that level without knowing somebody before, there is this tendency that the director may have to have a relationship with you and all that and all that. It was so rampant at that time. So when my husband came in as the president, I assumed the position of the matron of the association, matron for women wing of that association. And we're branding ourselves as models that will break that genes of having to use your private something for stardom. I hope you understand. That it has to be a professional thing, and that women should stop being abused. Okay, now, at least if a man wants to become a star, he doesn't have to go and sleep with any woman. So must a woman sleep with a man for her to become a star? So that was what we were talking about. And we're now thinking about empowering women financially so that they too could become producers of note. I hope you understand. So now, like Mr. Victor said, we've been coming for a long time. So he knows my husband well. So my husband knows him well. They are the ones that, they are like the moralists or the restructuralists in film industry that will not take nonsense, that wants the best for the association. But unfortunately, people will not allow, like Yoruba program will say, not to talk in learning. If you are too truthful, you will not have followers. I hope you understand. If you are too truthful, if you want it to be done this way, that is the moral standard. Let it be like this. People will not follow you, madam. It's unfortunate. Then another way by which we have this moral decadence is the influence of the Western world on us. The Western world is not helping us. And unfortunately, this day, it is not the parents that are now controlling the children. It is the children that are controlling the parents now. No thanks to Yahoo and all that, where they can get money easily. And most of the parents are poor, so most of these youths are the ones that are financing the home. So like that, all this. But now, creativity, like Mr. Osai said, we can start talking, having talks. Because I know that, for instance, you are a very senior officer in UFCC. I've never met you. But somehow, if you are very keen with me, of course you will say, I have seen your face before in television. Maybe if now I don't even do that anymore. Not that I don't do it anymore, but at least my job is taking a better part of me. So I no longer feature in all those 13 episodes and all that. And my wig too will kind of make me hide. I hope you understand. But what I'm saying is, because you can imagine your status in EFCC, and I don't know you, and a lot of people don't know you, and you read a lot of powers there. But unfortunately, you are not known. And so there's no way you can influence anybody. But me, if tomorrow I come out with another big film now, and people can now trace my face to how it used to be in the 90s, they say, see that woman. I hope you understand. So it behooves us to restructure our stories, our identity. I mean, the way we dress up, the way we talk. And I think most filmmakers now, they've started doing that by their story lines and all that. You know, you have seen some films where they'll say, children don't behave like this, so no, you don't behave like that. No, you have to be behaving like this. Hope you understand. Those are the ways that, and I will implore government too, not to look down on creative industry as people of no substance. They should cease their opportunity. They should seize their platform as a means of restructuring a lot of things in the society and passing information and remolding our culture and our tradition and our morality.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam. My greatest joy this afternoon on this particular sections of this topic is the fact that the message, the people concerned more in the message are much more around. That is just the greatest joy I have with this. Because the one that I've got that actually not here, you can't start removing them in any way. So I'm glad that the people that are really, really more concerned about this topic are very much around. Madam, thank you so much for doing serious justice to this. Like Prof has rightly said concerning my question to the NDLA, somebody asked me a personal question, apart from the fact that the question was thrown from the group, that we may have the opportunities of the chairman or the representative to deal with that question. On my own, I was able to answer that question. I remembered when K.G. Hamilton came to my church. He was a rapist. He said it by himself. He said he robbed, he do all manners of drugs, everything, crime as you may name it, he did it. He said up to tomorrow, before he cancelled anybody in that kind of a lifestyle, he will tell you that this is who I was. And then he will use that opportunity to get you, talk to you that he has done this thing and there's nothing there, so there's no gain there. So it is, I personally responded to one or two persons that I come across that we discussed this, that they did this very deliberate, that if one person can pull crowd into an act, that same one person can pull the crowd out of that act. That was my sincere response to that. So I was expecting that we have been given the opportunity to still say it, so that even in their own social media, they will still be able to defend the reason why that step was taken by the chairman. But it's okay. And I'm still glad that they are here now to listen to the response of that question. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And I think I'll use this opportunity to talk to our young people here. There's no gain in Yahoo Yahoo. For those that may want to try, there's no gain in doing all those illegal things because you want to make money today. I remember Mr. Uzo from years back, over 25 years now, right? When he was an editor at Clink Studio for many years. He's being celebrated now. What we are talking about is whatsoever it is that you want to do on the right path, consistency, diligence, hard work. It still remains the only road to success. The others might climb up now, but tomorrow they will fall. You're moving slowly, steadily. You will get to where you think or where you were believing that you never get to. You surpass that place, climb on top, climb the highest mountains, and you find yourself on the highest peak. That is the truth about life. How do we re-engineer morality? The only way we can re-engineer morality is by looking at the good side. Look at the good side of the coin. Work hard. Emulate the good things. That all of you here, you've been either in a Sunday school, in churches, or groups in the mosques, in Islam, and there is no place where they will tell you that that it is a smooth sailing process. It doesn't happen anywhere. So the only way I know, some people here may know my story. I didn't just get up today to be a senior officer at the EFCC. I had me sitting down here, I've fried akara, I've fried fish. I've not done ashawo. I don't know how to do it. I've not done 419. Your integrity, holding forth to your integrity, moving with that slow pace but consistency is the only way that can get you up there. However hard it may be, it's interesting to know that parents also help spoil the young people. There are parents who take their children to people that will teach them how to do 419. Register them. We know. There are schools being run by adults where people go to learn how to do Yahoo Yahoo. That is not the way to go. And at the end of the day, we also have young people that have been caught, incarcerated, and they've come out to cry. I didn't know it was that bad. There's something my mother used to tell us. He said, do not wait to say, had I known. Had I known, always come at last. Because at the end of the day, the time that you spent thinking that you're moving ahead, it will draw you back, and you go back to square one. So it's better you start climbing small, crawl if you must, fall down, because it is only one that has fallen and risen that will know the pain sustained and then how to avoid that pitfall that made him or her to fall. Morality, which if you have good morals, you can move forward. If you have good morals, you won't look back. If you have good morals, you always want to emulate that which is good. Creative industry is growing, and it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And if you're steady, if you're consistent, you'll be one of those that will be at the top.
Wow.
Thank you.
Mother, you nailed it. You nailed it. Thank you so much, Mother. Thank you so much for having you here. Thank you for... I want to believe that the Bible says, he who have ear, let him hear. She's here not because of anything, but because of the kind of person she is. All these calibers of people that you are seeing here did not cut corner to be here. They work for it. They do not beg to be honored. They deserve being honored to be here. And I do hope that the purpose of this topic and then this lesson that he gave to all of us today, we will all be engineered to do the right thing. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. So please, before you go, can we give like 2 minutes or 3 minutes? Do anybody have a question? 1 or 2 questions, and then we'll go. Madam, sorry. Do anybody have a question? No question. So that means we understand.
Sorry, if there's no question, let me share a very short story.
Okay.
Very brief. Please, I want you to listen to this very carefully, because your life can go anyway based on the decisions that you take. Now, this happened several years ago. There was a young man, we were all very young then. This was during, I think, Buhari's first era, when he just came to power then. I think here there was a young man I knew, smart, articulate, although now with the benefit of hindsight I understand, he speaks with he was, when he talks, then I thought he was like a style of speaking, and all that, we were speaking and all that. He invited me to his house, somewhere in Ikeja. I went to see him. He was even in a BQ. For a very young man, then, BQ was a big deal, not like today. So, by himself, the room was well rugged, beautiful, everything. And then, where I sat, He was with another friend or two. So, and I noticed they were taking something. I think it was, then I found out, when I said, he said, do you want? I said, what's that? He said, heroin. I said, no, thank you. At that point, my head and my leg started getting into gear. But I couldn't just walk out of the place at that time. Many of the young people we have will fall because you don't know how to say no. You want to please. It's okay, let me just take a little. Let him not think I am. You understand what I'm saying? I had a strong will. I've always been independent-minded. I had a strong will to say, no, thank you. And he respected that. At the slightest excuse, I left that place and I never saw him again. And I'm not sure, I'm not God, but I doubt that guy is still alive. You can't enter that lifestyle. It's not sustainable. You understand? Because where will you get money to fund? You saw Whitney Houston, what happened to her. Where will you get the money to sustain it? You will start stealing and selling all your properties. And you will go into the street like a mad person. And eventually, if motor will not knock you, drug will knock you. Do you understand? That decision I took is the reason I'm sitting here today. Do you understand? Please, do not live your life to please anybody. Don't do it. If I had just said yes or okay, let me just try a little, I doubt I'll still be standing above the ground today. Please, I just thought I should share this story. And please, have the strong will to say no. It is very honorable. There's nothing wrong in saying no. Thank you very much.
And by the way, who are those that are studying theater arts? All of you. I am a theater artist. My work still revolves around.
It's a great lecture as enough. Thank you so much, madam. Thank you. We sincerely appreciate you. Thank you for coming in. Thank you. So coming up next, we are going to have like very, very few minutes. And then please, I want you to listen, because there's someone that is going to motivate you, is going to talk to you in a manner that to take you to the next level. Because he was once youth like you, and because of his dedication to work, because of his commitment and diligence, today everybody celebrates him. I celebrate him. And coming about to speak to us is no other person than Mr. Uzodimon. Celebrate him, please. His film has won several awards, not only in Nigeria, but all over the world. You're welcome, son.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. I'm not going to address you guys as the young ones. I will address you as my colleagues here, because I want to believe that many of you are going to end up as filmmakers. So permit me to address you guys as my junior colleagues. Yes. All right? So starting on that note, one thing I always tell anybody at all that wants to come into filmmaking is to have the audacity of belief. The audacity of belief. You have to believe enough that this is what you want to do. You have to believe enough that no matter what comes along the path to your filmmaking career, that you have to be steadfast to maintain that path. You have to believe enough that instead of having lunch, dinner, and breakfast, I can forego lunch, I can forego dinner, because I want to get this particular thing which will help me get better in the path that I have chosen. It is that audacity of belief that will make you thrive. It is what will become the force or the tailwind for you to take off. If not, you'll just be like a plane parked at the airport, or if you're lucky enough, you'll just be taxing, and you will never take off. I have to be very, very sincere with you guys. I was in the College of Medicine, University of Lagos, studying dental surgery. It was that audacity of belief. I'm not asking you to leave school or something, but I was so convinced that, hey, what I have wasted my time on, as it were, so to say, or what I have wanted to become wasn't meant for me. And to tell you the story of how I got here, we'll spend the whole day. But I was convinced at that point that, hey, this is not it. I'm not meant to be a dental surgeon. How I got there is a long story that I can't take on now. But I am trying to tell you I was that convinced. And I had to choose one and leave one. And I chose filmmaking. And I thank God that when I look behind today, that I don't have any regrets. So the audacity of belief. So many of you are probably in theater arts because of the glitz and glamour, or because of Instagram followers, or because of the digital space, what it has done and what it can do. That you can post one thing on TikTok, on Snapchat, or on Instagram, or on Twitter, and it gets plenty likes on all that. Maybe that's why some of you, I'm telling you today that this is not the place for you, if that is why. That is what I'm trying to do now. If that is the only reason you're here, because, hey, you want to be famous, yeah. It's not a bad thing just being famous, don't get me wrong. But if that is the only driving or propelling force for you, then you are in the wrong path. I will tell you that for free. You must believe enough that you have something that you can give that can affect this industry and make it better than where you have seen it, or you will see it when you guys are ready to take over. If not, this is not it. And that brings me to mindset. First, it was audacity of belief. Now your mindset. You must have such a mindset that, hey, when you are going to do a project, you will say this project must be better than the last one. Not just that you're going to do just another project, but whenever that you have an opportunity to do a project, that project must be better than whatever you have done. And for that to happen, so many other things have to come into play. Passion won't be enough. You have to prep. You have to be prepared. You have to research. You have to ask questions. You have to learn formally or informally. And thank God for the days of internet. You don't have to go to a physical film school. If you spend 2 hours on the net discussing film, chatting film, looking out for people that you like their works that are filmmakers, either directors or cinematographers or something, you will become a better filmmaker than somebody that does not do that, and you haven't been to any film school. So you guys have an added advantage, and that is where I'm going, because you're already studying theater arts, which has to do with film, so to say, at least the acting part of it. Some universities have stepped up. They now have Department of Theater Studies and Film or something. I don't know whether that has happened over there. In last week, right now. I know Port Harcourt has moved over because they have discovered that there is a lacuna, you understand, between, there is still a thin line. There is a line between theater and film. TV is different from film. Theater is different from film. That's just it. The way you're going to act on stage, if you act so in front of the camera, you will be too loud. You will be too gesticulative. You will be too performative. Your performance will go out of board. But it is allowed in theater. Because in theater, you have to project. It is live there on stage. You have to do all that. Then in film, of course, we also know that TV, the line may be thin, but hey, film has a language, and the language of film is the cinema itself, and it is a universal language. And out of everything universal, film, music, and mathematics are the three I can remember. I know there is a fourth one I can't remember right now. But film is film anywhere. Speak any language is visual storytelling. When we were younger, as in my time, we were watching Indian movies without subtitles. And we sat down and finished it. We were watching Chinese movies and we sat down and we finished it. We never had any word in Chinese or something, and they were not subtitled. So it's a visual medium, and that is what you guys must take in from now on. It is not talking. If you want to talk, go to radio. Film is a visual medium. All right, moving on, I've spoken about mindset. I've spoken about the audacity of belief. I want to talk about the democratization of the space. You guys already know that. Filmmaking has been completely democratized. Before, it was just the production process that was democratized. And what do I mean by democratization? It is the fact that anybody and everybody can be a filmmaker these days. But like I said in my opening speech, it is not everybody that will be a good filmmaker. So you guys must strive to be good filmmakers. And while you are good, you don't rest on your oars. You have to strive to be better, and the only way to be better is to leave good behind. That's it. So if you don't leave good behind, you can't be better, you just remain good. So what am I trying to say? You guys are in a dynamic space. And it is a threatened space because it's dynamic. It is always moving. It is just like the digital space. It is insurgent. And insurgency is such that you don't know what is going to happen. The next second, you don't know what is going to happen. That is why it is called insurgency. So that is the space that you operate in, or you are going or coming in to operate in when you guys finish school. Now we have AI, and AI is going to kick a lot of people out of work. So AI should be your friend right now. You guys should try to know what AI can do and what it can't do. Because who are the people that AI will kick out of work? The people that are not good enough. So that is where your craft comes in. You have to be a good filmmaker to start with. Whether you're just starting or not, how can you be better? How many of you guys, how can you be the best out of everybody here? That should be your first, aspiring thing to do before anything else. And quickly, let me touch on funding before I leave. Earlier on, as a panelist, I didn't want to go into that because, I felt we were taking so much time, and I knew there were other panels that were going to come on and all that. But everywhere in the world, quote me, funding is a problem for filmmakers. It is not peculiar to Nigeria. Quote me. Thousands and millions of people that spend thousands and millions of dollars because filmmaking is expensive. If you're really going to go through the schools of filmmaking, it's an expensive thing. Coming out doesn't guarantee you. That's the only job that doesn't guarantee you when you finish. When you have trained as a filmmaker, you have to start from maybe being a PA or something if you're lucky enough or something. So the fact that you are a trained cinematographer or a trained director from a renowned film school doesn't automatically mean that when you come out of school, you're going to get a cinematography job or you're going to get a job as a director. So what do you now do? You have to shoot your own film. You have to put your name to something. And all the greats will tell you that once you have put your name to that thing, that is when you become a filmmaker. It's not what your certificate says. And that was one of the propelling things for me back then when I was making up my mind. So your certificate, no. It is a practical field. Yes, it's good. You're armed with that. But once you finish, it is what you know and what you can express with what you know. And how well you can express what you know is what is going to put food on your table. I have to be very frank with you guys. So funding, nobody is going to dash you any money. Yeah, there are grants there. The grants are difficult to access. That's the truth. Yes, there are grants outside the shores. And once it is outside, you are already disadvantaged because it's not from your country. So they are going to give preference to filmmakers from their countries and their clients before they come to you. So don't let anybody fool you. The best way and the fastest way for you guys is to put your money where your mouth is. It's as simple as that. Instead of using that 300K phone, is it possible you shoot a 300K short film and start putting it in short film festivals, because you're guaranteed that if you win, that festival is going to give you up to $5,000 minimum to go and shoot a better film. And that is where your passion comes in. That is where your mindset comes in. That is where your audacity comes in. How much do you love being a filmmaker? Can you forgo lunch? I asked that question at the beginning. Can you forgo dinner for being a filmmaker? If you're waiting for it to fall on your laps, it's not going to happen. Out of 20 of you, maybe it will happen for 2 or 3 most. If you're waiting, for somebody to give you money as a neophyte to go and shoot. It is that simple. You must be believable enough to yourself that, hey, I can do this thing. Instead of this iPhone, I'll use the money to do this. I can ask my uncle for this. Instead of that trainers I want to buy, I can save up, I can do this. And I can write a script tailored to my budget. And when you do it, you have now become a filmmaker. It's as simple as that. I think I will stop here for now. Yeah. Thank you.
A round of applause if you can clap for him. It's not easy. He has come a very long way to this point where he is today. We celebrate you, sir. Thank you so much. In less than 15 minutes, we'll be out here. Please, we have the last person that is going to talk to us, and no other person but Mr. Izzy Emmanuel. It's Dr. Daddy, probably known as Dr. Daddy. He's one of the technical coordinators of the LEAF event, and he's going to talk to us briefly. 10-15 minutes, we are out of here. Let's recognize him. Let's give him a clap. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. A round of applause for him.
Use this one. All right. Greetings, everyone. It is not going to be possible for me to stand there because what we're about to do is basically an interaction with you. We are sorry that there is not much time, but what we are rather doing is a process. You see, the student aspect of LEAF, Lagos International Film Festival, is one of the key aspects that I personally like, because there is no point in gathering experienced filmmakers without bringing the upcoming ones to learn from them and also get the opportunity to practice what they are studying. And that is what this session, the part Screen to Win, is all about, right? He already told you who I am. I am the technical coordinator for this project for the festival, and I am the person handling this project. I am a filmmaker, basically a film director, but I edit. I'm a cinematographer, And the reason is simple. To be a film director, you are the one person, the director and the producer are the two people that their function in filmmaking qualifies them to be called filmmakers. Because these people are involved in the process of filmmaking from the scratch to the finish. And the person that does it to the best is the director. Because from the time you start concepting your story, they are supposed to be in the know. They would advise you on technicalities from the story formation. And if you don't do that when you are done, you are definitely going to send to them when they do analysis and all. So we are not going to go into lots of technicalities, but we are going to start by asking, how many departments of filmmaking do we have here? Are we all actors? So we have writers. One of your students already mentioned that we have writers. So what else do we have? We have directors in the house. Whoa. Nice to meet you guys. I hope that we had more time, because me right here, I think that we have one student from, she left. We have our directors. We have our directors. Do we have people in set design? Because that is one aspect of our filmmaking that is strongly lacking. I can tell you that there are not many set designers that you can beat your, you know, and these are people that once you start conceiving films, you are supposed to involve them. I don't like shouting, but like he was saying, I have film background, but what eats my data is seeking knowledge for filmmaking. And I mean seeking knowledge for filmmaking because I want to be able to have normal conversation with any filmmaker anywhere in the world. And I am there. I am not thinking, I know. Because my first official job, which is yet to be out, as a director and a producer too, I've directed a couple before that one, already has interest in the US and has opportunity to, you know, screen privately in Texas, in Houston Afro Festival. So, but the idea I'm trying to push forward is understand that, like he said, filmmaking is an international or global language. So you don't have to be learning filmmaking by the standard it is practiced in your school, in your vicinity, or even the way it is practiced by the very person you call a role model. So you have to look at both the filmmaking itself as a global language and the industry as there is one thing that we are missing in the industry, which I frown against, and that is indiscipline, right? Forget that you are students, I don't take it. Last time out, it wasn't only students I have to speak to about filmmaking. If we are having conversation, I need everybody's attention, because that discipline that is lacking in our industry is one of the reasons, especially in the area of managing ourselves and our resources in the industry. Of course, we hit money, we make good money, and then we are the most people to be on air demanding help, asking for donations and all of that. It is not coming from the place of making very little. It's also coming from the place of not managing our wealth well. And that is where the question of discipline and all of that comes. Okay, you were in this program last year. So she was in one Pan-African Film Association that I was. I didn't know her like much from the, it was now how she was talking of the that edition of Live and my session, that because that one we had more time. We had different classes. We had on directing, which I handled. We had on producing. But today we are just going to generally give you basics on filmmaking. And then I'll guide you on how you will go about your competition. I hope that someone takes something from the fact that cinema is a visual storytelling, right? If you are working on your project, we want to see the cinematic end. It is not important that you are using phone, because it is strictly phone, whatever you are doing. And I asked if we have different departments because when you are shared into groups of, do we have a total number of how many we are?
Okay. I'm not having a session.
How many? What's our number? Total number. Okay, let's just take a count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that means we can have a 3 group of 5, or 4 group of 3, right?
Mr. Madu.
Or 5 group of 3s.
Mr. Madu, okay.
There's no way we can have a 4 group of 4. Yes, one will be missing. So we would rather, are you going to sit there as a student? Any group you join, you are supposed to be a mentor in that group. But for the sake of, if you have the interest, for the sake of having a balanced 4 different groups of 4 teams, I think we will have to leave you out so that we'll leave you out to give them more space. Let's have 3 groups of 5, right? So that from your group, choose a director. Someone from your group should be responsible for the story. Start taking responsibility.
Like
So that if we are scoring or criticizing the, but before I continue, remember that you are first a team.
This chemist will not be on the madam.
And I'm putting it on the director because I'm going to come back and ask you. You are the technical leader. And once you appoint a producer, this is me giving you basics of filmmaking because the time is very small. Now you are going to appoint a director, and the director is the technical leader of that project. Technical leader. Anything goes wrong technically is on the director. Right? Sound, visual is on. But it's not only on him. Now the work is on you to coordinate the group, the team. The group is your team now, both technical and act. Even you, the director, can still act. So if someone has interest or gifting in cinematography, I didn't hear anybody say they are in that department. Is anyone a cinematographer here? The DPs or DOP as we call them in Nigeria. So the director of photography, they are way above cameramen. Their functions are as this thing, right? Because they have real technical duties. And the whole cinematic end of it, of a film, is between themselves and the directors and every other person, because the makeup speaks visually, the set design speaks visually, and all the things before we come to interpretation speaks visually, and they all visually tell the story. He did speak a little bit about theater and screen, right? And you know, in a more advanced world, the industry recognizes stage directors. And why some of them go ahead to be movie directors or film directors, some just specialize on that stage directing. And for the theater guys here, you know, this stage now, there is where I will place an act. And by that positioning, the act's placement, you already can assess the actor's role, either to be big or small in that story, before lighting and other effects come in to still add to whatever that simple placement has happened. And like you were saying, the part we keep leaving aside in visual storytelling is the part where it has to look real, right? And this is a challenge I'm putting up to you. You know, now because of skits, everybody carries phone, camera, and does something. No, that is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a story that has all the qualities of a story, right? You know that a story should have a direction, right? And a message. And how you pass the message is entirely up to you. That's where we expect that you get creative. Some would attack it from the climax and then go back to how it happened and what, right? And some will build the regular, introduce, then, you know, introduce your characters, introduce their challenges in the second act, and then resolve. The second act, it gets to climax, and then you start resolving. That's conventional. You can go, these days, present days, we have 5 acts. But when you sit down and study them, it still follows the standard 3 acts. Just that you are able to break up some of those parts into other smaller that helps the entire story. So now, you choosing a style that works best for your story, right, is entirely up to you. You are telling a rape story and you decide to start from when the guy is using the means he wants to use to get the lady or the victim, or the lady using whatever means she wants to get the guy, the victim. It's up to you. If you want to start from it's already done and the effect is killing the person, and then tell us how it happened. But the thing is, the message, how best do you think your audience will get it? But after how best you think you will get it, you have to consider keeping them to stay with the story to the end and get it, right? Because if they don't stay with you, so as a filmmaker, I have a principle. My first 3, 4, 5 scenes are not to be joked with, and so are my last 3. If it means me writing them myself, I have to, because if you lose your audience in your first 5 scenes, there is no way they are going to see half of your film. So, but if you keep them in the first 5 scenes, they are very likely going to stay there. Why am I telling you all of this? These are things that are going to make you better filmmakers. These are things that are going to separate your projects from the regular projects, right? So, why was I talking of stage and screen? And I made an important point, which is that these visual stories should be real. We watch foreign movies, and sometimes you forget you are watching a film. Why? Because they don't have to sit down and do like this, and because I want to talk to you. If I am like this and you start talking to me, I can still be doing what I'm doing, and I say, okay, but look your meat. And against you talk to me and I'm doing, and I why don't we can see the act?
And you collect. Mommy, I bought this for you. God bless you. Where you get the money from?
I tell you, in my, if you are lying down beside a pool and you have to turn somewhere, I have to give reason for you.
All the best of the club.
Is it that you are turning to look at something, or something is drawing your attention, or someone is coming from there that their footstep has to. You don't just turn because script says someone is coming from there, and by your calculation you turn. No, that reality end, and that is what differentiates a lot of times stage actors from screen actors. I've worked with stage actors like theater guys. Some of them, not all. Some of them have issues transiting to screen. because they have been built with a lot or trained with a lot of energy on stage. For stage, you are playing for both the person in front of you and the last person there, and you are encouraged to make them feel you the same way. So you speak for them to hear you equally or at least well enough. So your expressions are exaggerated a little or made more dramatic professionally, so they can feel it from there. However, in screen, the camera is like very, and it can come as close as, so as simple as this you're blinking, the camera sees it. You're nodding, the camera sees it, and they're actually reactions. They are telling the stories. So imagine when the way you are doing it now is normal, and then I make you understand you have to do it, and then you start doing it. So you see, in screen, we encourage people to be as natural as possible. Then, where the drama is needed, for the actors here, watch out for where the drama is needed. There are, in every story, in every scene, depending on what that scene is set to achieve, there are where dramas are needed of that scene. Because every scene is a story in a story. And then most scenes should be developed to have the whole introduce, get to the heated resolve, or start with heated, blah, blah, you know. So, please, I know in this short time I've said plenty, but I hope, and your short film would not give you all the time to experiment what I've just said, but I'm saying that short film isn't the last attempt. That short film is for the sake of this festival. You have a lifetime of trying to inculcate most of what you have learned today into, you know, your film journey, your filmmaking journey. So, guys, let's have fun as we're doing this. But above all, let's follow standard process, even though we are shooting with phone. Now, is there a question, or should I go straight to how the project would run? Okay.
So, when you propose it to
Yes.
can we have assistance from outside?
Now, yes, the assistant will allow from outside, which is not encouraged, right? Is that so when I see the way they be with all the rushing that I'm rushing, so I'm already behind time. So we need to wrap up, right? And we are here, live. This project, you can access us, right? For coming for this, you have a right to want to gain more from this. So reach out, right? And me personally can always, right, get in contact so that we cut it short. For what you ask, ideally, we would prefer, if you can, don't bring outside help. But technically, no. Technically, no. You can't go and hire a cinematographer, and that's why we are saying phone. Right? So challenge yourself. If in this shot, starting from the leg tells your story better, you have to think yourself and know this is cinematically how I want to tell this story, because that's the whole essence. Challenging you to get creative, and with the very little you have, pull some stunts. Right? So bearing in mind everything we've talked about is good story, solid execution, and by execution I mean production from the way you approach it. See, when you watch a story, you can tell the strength of the technical team, the strength, the coordination. You know, I spoke about director being a technical leader. The work of the producer is the administrative head of a production. He has a PM and accountant working on that, but you see everything administrative in production is on. The producer, of course, employs the director, and the director when he's given the rights, but ideally, that is the way it should be. employ the director and let him work with his crew, or liaise with him to engage crew that helps him deliver the vision he has for. But you see, when you see a job, you can tell the strength of the crew from the production. So all these things are going to be assessed. So I'm encouraging you to work together as a team. Some people are going to, after you are shared, you would hardly be able to reach them. We want you to, because each group has to have a leader, we want you to make notes of those people. Those are the disciplines we want to start. We are allowed to report back to your school, but we do not take up that option because we believe that when people, you have more students in your school, but you are here. So we believe that for that step, you want to gain knowledge, and we are trusting all of you to do great. So when we share you into groups now, you get a story, film the story. I would prefer that it doesn't exceed 3 minutes. Right? 3 minutes, but maximum 5. So, but ideally, let it remain within 3 minutes. Okay, we are only 3, right? Okay, so we can do 5 minutes because on the day of screening, we'll have to watch all, right? And then a jury would be set up. I would only head the jury. The jury will score and then pass the final results to myself, who is coordinating this. So, yeah, so we can do 5 minutes, but if your story does what you want it to do within 3 minutes, is fine. But don't exceed 5 minutes, but you can do 5 minutes. So get your story, make your casting. So I am giving the room, me, not the team, but I know it's okay. You can bring in 1 or 2 acts, depending on how many acts you have in your story. If you are lacking within your group, you can bring in 1 or 2. We would also even prefer that you borrow from another group, which is not advisable because you can. But if they have filmed their own before you, the last edition, when we trained them, like today, the next day, it was within our venue that they had to do their filming. So you guys are getting what they didn't have, and that's why I am expecting, that's why I'm taking this time to give you this knowledge injections that you need to come up with a better production, right? Because you have better location and all, but you have to submit the film directly to us by or before Thursday, 4 p.m. The other people, they did it there and they did it there, and then we screened. Today is what? Today is Tuesday. Today is Wednesday. Okay, no, Friday. Friday, 4 p.m. You know why? On Saturday, we need to have time to look through them and do everything for scoring. The whole announcement and all would be done at the gala night on Saturday, so Friday evening, right? So, like I've said, pick what is key to your production, the key crew, and then cast and get back to us. Okay. You have a contact person, right? Yes, sir. You have a contact person in this setup. So please reach out and ask for the number to send in your film directly. WhatsApp. It is better that you send via document to save your quality. If you don't know how to ask, right? But you send via WhatsApp. Try that the size is WhatsApp friendly so that you send via WhatsApp. Shoot, edit with your phone, submit finished work to us by or before 6 p.m. on Friday. Right? So that is that about that, okay? So no cameras, you can use enhanced sound device, but no camera, just phone, right? So if you're editing with phone. phone editors. There are some professional phone editors you can, but it has to be phone. Like, check that out for yourself. Because there are a lot of them I don't use them. Yeah. So there are a lot of them, like I mentioned. These projects like this give you opportunity to try out other things. Because I'm a director, I know I work with everybody in the process. I had to learn. Me, I'm done. You guys can be coupling up. We are giving them, we are just giving them the procedures to the project. So because I know that I work with everybody, I took my time to study.
Live at the Center of Excellence holds a historic event, the Lagos International Film Fest 3, with the theme Beyond Convergence, the imperative for partnerships. This year, we create motion picture history together, featuring explosive red carpets, screenings, value-added training and workshops, incredible networking opportunities, and a Mandala night this August 30th to 2nd September 2023. Time 9 a.m. daily at the Oriental Hotel, Victoria Island, Kai Mall, Lekki Ekpe Expressway, Lagos. Open to all creatives, investors, corporates, and individuals who want to join the industry. To participate, call 0802 615 8512. or 051-3298. Email content007sir@gmail.com. Follow us for more updates.
The story has just